Listen up, get ready, I'm not gonna take no more. There's a revolution, a revelation going on in my soul. Buckle up, get ready, we're not gonna sit back.
Welcome back to Live from the Heartland for the week of September 2nd. And it brings me a lot of pleasure to bring on now our musical component of this week's show. A guy I haven't met, but I'm looking forward to going out and hear him play. The one, the only John Ballantyne. And he has a band called the Crazy Heart Band. And he is from Scotland, which, so on my first hello to you. And you've been in Scotland, you're just back. How does a Scottish guy like you end up in Chicago being a C&W dude?
Well, in my formative years, when I was not even a teenager, my parents were big fans of country and western music. They loved Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, Hank Williams, Hank Snow. A lot of guys named Hank had records in our house. So I heard it a lot, but especially on a Saturday night when they would come home from the local pub and they'd bring some of the friends with them. And I'd be trying to get to sleep, you know, I'd have some exams or something, but there was no way to get to sleep. They just pounded that country and western music. So it was kind of subliminally installed in me. And I'm glad for it. It's been a great thing. The funny thing,
I love it. I used to listen to WWVA, Wheeling, West Virginia in the 50s. I'd get it late at night, and I remember listening to it. I got to say, you mentioned a lot of Hanks, but you didn't mention George Jones. I just wondered if you're a fan of George. He'd be my favorite.
Absolutely a fan of George Jones. It's hard to think of anyone who can deliver a song like that guy. You know, that's just a natural talent. Great admirer, and you know, like some of the songs comes to mind today. I started. He stopped loving her today. I mean, how good.
And Take Me, that one he did. Take Me to Siberia, the coldest winter of the winter time would be like spring in California if I knew you were mine. Anyhow, I'm sure you were influenced by a lot of these guys and women too. But why don't you give us a little bit of information about this event you're having at the Montrose Saloon? You will have had one earlier too, out at a place called Hey Nani, I think in Arlington Heights. And it's really talking about John Prine, Kris Kristofferson, and Goodman. Tell us about those guys and your appreciation and love and affection for them.
Well, we do a storytelling event. We do a lot of performance as a band. I mean, all the songs are there, but what I like to stress is we tell the stories. And anybody who ever went to see John Prine, for example, couldn't help but be impressed with, the songs are wonderful. Unbeatable, but his storytelling was what drew so many people to him, and I try to kind of emulate that. I'll never be John Prine, but I try to tell a story. And the key to the thing is, one night in like early summer 1971, Kris Kristofferson came to town. He already became very famous. He was a big star. They came to play 3 nights at the Quiet Night on the north side. It was a place owned by Richard Hardy. And the guy that got the job to open was Stevie Goodman. So he gets to open for the big time Kris Kristofferson. And Kristofferson couldn't help but be impressed with Steve Goodman's songs. You know, City of New Orleans, for example. He hadn't recorded that yet. So Steve's just playing these songs, and Kristofferson comments, these are great songs. And the great thing is, the great human aspect of the story is Steve Goodman says, you know, you think these songs are good, you have to come and hear my pal John Prine. He's playing across town. I'm going to take you over there once we're done. And he did. He filled up a taxi cab with Kristofferson's entourage, and they piled in and drove over to where John Prine had just performed. And long story short, the next day, Kristofferson flies Steve Goodman and John Prine to New York and gets some signed for the record.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's a great story.
It is. I'll give you a little footnote about Kris Kristofferson. I grew up in Connecticut, and one of my family's best friends was a woman named Martha Cogan, and she was the daughter of some muckraker journalists out of Oregon, but she was a babysitter for Kris Kristofferson. So okay. I heard she's no longer around. I can't get any more details. Maybe one of her kids. How about before we get you to sing a little bit of music and tell us the details of the Montrose Saloon event and what night and what people ought to expect?
Yeah, it's September 16th. It's a matinee show. We're going to do it at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Because you got to remember, this night when this all happened is 50 years ago now. So a lot of the people like me are interested in this. They don't want to be out late, and I'm fine with that. So we'll kick it off at 3 at Montrose Saloon, which is a great little music venue. $10 at the door. I mean,
it's on Montrose, right out near Rockwell, just
yes,
past
exactly.
California.
Exactly.
Yeah, I used to see it when it was first opening up because there was a Korean bathhouse over there. It's no longer there, but I see it all the time.
Yeah, it's a great spot. Great spot. So September 16th, 3 p.m. We'll run the whole show. We try and set the scene as starting out in the quiet night where Steve Goodman is opening for Kris Kristofferson. Then we do a full set of Kristofferson songs. Take a little break and change the scene to the Earl of Old Town, where John Prine had just finished performing. We do a set of John Prine's with lots of stories about the songs in between. And I have some information on very good authority. I became pals on Facebook with John Prine's first wife, Ann Carroll, who was there that night, and she's helped us out with a lot of obviously very accurate information, clear up some of the mysteries about that night. So,
well, you're a songwriter in your own right.
Yeah.
At this event, are you going to play any of your own tunes?
I typically don't, but people have suggested that. I mean, maybe I should. The whole essence of the show is reverence for these three guys. So I don't want to kind of horn in on that in any way. I'm a big fan of the three guys, and it's celebration of their art. I mean, I guess we could sneak in an original tune there. That could be something in the shows.
When you come back, after everyone cheers you on and you come back on the stage, say, well, I'm going to take a little shit. Anyhow, can I talk you a little sample of what the people are going to get on that afternoon show on the 16th?
I've been thinking lately about the people I meet. The car wash on the corner and a hole in the street. The way my ankles hurt with shoes on my feet. And I'm wondering if I'm going to see tomorrow. Father, forgive us for what we must do. You forgive us and we'll forgive you. We'll forgive each other till we both turn blue. Then we'll whistle and go fishing in heaven. All right. I was in the army, but I never dug a trench. Used to bust my knuckles on a monkey wrench. I'd go to town and drink, give the girls a pinch, but I don't think they ever even noticed me. Father, forgive us for what we must do. You forgive us and we'll forgive you. We'll forgive each other till we both turn blue. Then we'll whistle and go fishing in heaven. Fish and whistle, whistle and fish. Eat everything that you put on your dish. When we get through, we'll make a big wish that we never have to do this again. Listen, my very first job I said thank you and please. They made me scrub a parking lot down on my knees. Then I got fired for being scared of bees, and they only gave me 50 cents an hour. Father, forgive us for what we must do. You forgive us and we'll forgive you. We'll forgive each other till we both turn blue. Then we'll whistle and go fishing in heaven. Go, Mark. fish and whistle and fish. Eat everything that's put on your dish. When we get through, we'll make a big wish that we never have to do this again. Again. Oh, Father, forgive us for what we must do. You forgive us and we'll forgive you. We'll forgive each other till we both turn blue. Then we'll whistle and go fishing in heaven. We'll whistle and go fishing in heaven. We'll whistle and go fishing in heaven. All right. Thank you so much. They're just warming up.
Well, it's really been good talking with you. And I wish I was going to be in town on that Saturday afternoon. I'd come over, but I'm going to come see you. And I really appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate your love of country music and your sharing your enthusiasm about these three great musicians, all of whom have spent some time in Chicago. And you got any parting words for your fans and listeners and would-be and future fans coming on and listening?
This show is about friendship. It's about the love that these guys had for each other. It's about the story that Kristofferson wouldn't have made it without Johnny Cash, for example. John Prine and Steve Goodman who knows, maybe wouldn't have made it without Kris Kristofferson. And those guys went on to do the same thing for hundreds of other musicians. So it's about friendship and encouragement and love. And we have a good time. Trust me, you'll like it.
Do you have any other gigs coming up where your band is playing that people should be aware of? And what is a good website for people to check you out?
Yeah, it's Friday night. We'll be at the Atlantic in Lincoln Square. We're going to be out in the suburbs a little bit, Main Street Outfitters in Wakanda. We're going to be at Happy's Bar in Cary. Probably for Chicago folks, the Montrose Saloon gig is the best shot for right now. But every once in a while we do Martyrs or Fitzgerald's or some of these places. And the website is crazyheartmusic.com. So www.crazyheartmusic.com. All of these shows and all the information, videos, all up there.
Well, Mr. Crazy Heart, John Ballantyne, it's nice to meet you. I'll meet you in the flesh and not too far off, brother.
I sure hope so. Thank you so much.
Thank you.